Welcome to the Regenerative Revolution. I'm Jackie Sersel. In the last video, I made some sort of controversial comments, and I was a little nervous to do so. In fact, I procrastinated making these videos for a long time because I do have a big mouth and I tend to say what I think. And in today's cancel culture, I was a little worried that I might piss some people off and get canceled or dogpiled on, struggle sessioned, etc. But I'm not really that afraid of that. I'm actually more afraid for my projects that I might, put people off who I do want to get involved. I don't want to sound too partisan or like I'm not welcoming of other viewpoints, because I am. And so I thought I would just hit this head on and make a video about communication and community guidelines, censorship, all of this, and how I think that we should handle it in our regenerative enterprises, specifically in the Regeneration Federation. And so I've thought about this a lot, and I came up with a set of community relational agreements for the Regeneration Federation. And so I'd like to just share those with you and talk to you about what I come up with and what I'm thinking in terms of how we can handle this in our organization. And so this document is just 3 pages long. It's got sections on intent, moderator roles, these 4 rules of communication, process of appeals, and suspension and termination. I'm going to skip some of these technical sections. If you want to read the whole document, I will link to it in the comments below. So let's just jump into the juicy points. Intent. The intent of these relational agreements is to preserve the democratic process within the Regeneration Federation. All participants must work to uphold democracy. No democratic institution can function properly if boundaries are violated, ideas are censored, or communication is disrespectful. Community members are expected to engage with each other with a high level of respect and maturity. The nonviolent resolution of conflicts is an essential part of problem solving, relationship building, and personal development, and is seen as a constructive activity that we invest in as a community. So I really like this last sentence here. It really gets to my point of this is an active process of improving our communication skills, right? And so if we want this to be a developmental evolutionary organization, we need to bake that into how we resolve conflicts. So that's really the paradigm from which I created these rules. All right. So skipping the moderator roles, let's go to the 4 rules of communication, and they are respecting context, respecting freedom of speech, respectful decorum, and acting in good faith. So respect, good faith. That's the basis of what we're talking about, okay? First, respecting context. By context, I mean the context of the conversation, the topic of discussion. We need to stick to the topic of discussion, and if no topic is declared in our forums, the default topic is Regeneration Federation business. So the great thing about this rule, and the reason that it's first, is that this takes care of 99% of the problems that we could possibly have, right? If we just say any random off-topic conversations are not subject to our moderation rules, meaning we can censor anything we want if it's not on topic, that means that we don't have to expend a lot of energy, just settling people's petty personal disputes or people talking about politics or whatever. That's not what we're here to discuss. Okay. And I honestly don't know if these kinds of rules would work in an open forum where you can discuss anything. I mean, that would just be kind of out of control. It's possible, but you definitely have to pay for that kind of forum because it would take a lot of moderation, right? So we want to minimize the amount of moderation that we have to do. But we can't moderate everything. People are going to have off-topic conversations, but if it becomes a problem, this is saying the moderator can step in and moderate it or censor it if they need to. So the second rule is respecting freedom of speech. This is my favorite one. I believe we need to all believe, we need to be on the same page about this, that everyone has the right to freedom of speech. And I go so far as to say we have the freedom to offend. And right here, I actually linked to a video that really clearly explains this. And I don't know if we'll keep this link in this document. It's a little weird to have a link in a document like this, but I put it in there so I could share it with you, so I can share it with the first people that I'm enrolling into the Federation, the founding partners, because I think we really need to be on the same page about this. If you don't understand why I'm saying this, why I believe in the freedom to offend, please watch this video. Just search it on YouTube, or you can click in this document linked below and you can find it right here. Okay. So basically saying, this is a short paragraph here, because if ideas are being expressed that are on topic and using respectful language, no one has the right to censor that expression or respond in a way that violates these relational agreements. So you don't have the right to be disrespectful to someone just because they're saying something that offends you. If you're offended, that's your problem. You need to deal with it. We'll help you through a discussion, but it's nobody else's problem that you're offended. All right. So moving on. Respectful decorums. This is how we discuss things, okay? So again, this is just reiterating that the moderator can't moderate everything that everybody says. You're responsible for how you engage in conversations. But yeah, if someone, including the moderator, feels that a statement is disrespectful, they should respond respectfully by asking some form of the question, can this idea be expressed in a more respectful way? Lots of ways to say that. We're giving you one right here. You can copy and paste this, keep it ready. This is the respectful way to respond to someone that said something disrespectful. Point it out to them and give them the opportunity to restate what they have to say. Okay. And that's what it says. You just, the person who's being accused of being disrespectful must address it. They need to respond. They say, oh, you're right. Here, let me say it this way instead. Or they say, no, actually, what I said is perfectly respectful. I don't think I need to restate it. So you can either accept that or you can take it to the moderator. But, I do encourage here to make multiple attempts to find adequately respectful language. Let's try. Let's put forth some effort. Let's have a discussion, right? As long as both individuals are acting in good faith to increase the respectfulness of their communication, they may continue the conversation. Yes, this is difficult. Yes, this requires effort. But I think it's worth it. We're all going to grow and become better people, and our organization will be better if we put forth this effort, okay? If community members cannot work out a respectful solution on their own, they may bring the exchange to the moderator. The moderator must first allow the accused to explain the meaning and intent of their statement, how it's appropriate within the context of the forum, and how it is respectful as possible. So give the person the opportunity to defend themselves. And then, if the idea is appropriate to the context, the moderator must critique how the person expressed that idea, not what they were trying to express. So again, just protecting the freedom of speech. We're trying to find a respectful way to say what they were saying. We're not trying to change what the person was trying to say. We're just trying to figure out a more respectful way to say it. And usually there is a more respectful way to say things, so if you're the person who said something that offended someone else, also you need to be willing to say, okay, well, I can express that in a different way. And it still means the same thing. You're not being put upon by being asked to, not use cuss words or, just say things in a little bit nicer way. If someone's asking you to, go ahead. You don't have to argue with it. However, as it says in this statement right here, if respectful wording is found, the accused is allowed to restate their idea with the agreed upon language and continue the conversation in the forum. Here, we're not requiring an apology. You don't have to apologize. You can just say, oh, actually what I meant was, or you can just start over again. If no solution is found, the moderator may disallow them from communicating the idea or discussing that particular topic. So it is up to the moderator. They do have a lot of discretion here. If a particular moderator doesn't think the F word is respectful, they can say you can't use the F word. Another moderator might think it's fine. It's really up to the moderator, and we just have to deal with that because that's the nature of communication. And then the last rule here is acting in good faith. It is the responsibility of each individual to make good faith arguments. A moderator may halt a discussion and remove someone from their forum if they determine that they are acting in bad faith. Any discussion where a decision needs to be made, any argument being made in bad faith is discounted. So this is actually a rule in holacracy. It especially comes in when someone's made an objection. If the objection is determined to be a valid objection, then the person who made the proposal has the opportunity to change their proposal to integrate that objection. So it's a back and forth conversation that you have, trying to figure out a way to state it to, make this proposal that both parties can agree to. Okay. And as you're going back and forth, if either of them, if the objector stops acting in good faith, their objection is no longer valid. They just lose the argument right then and there. Okay. Or if the person who made the proposal stops acting in good faith, their proposal is thrown out. They lose the argument. So that's in holacracy, and I put it right in here, straight from holacracy. Let's define good faith. Good faith means that someone is making a genuine attempt to resolve a disagreement. If they are listening to what the other person is saying, responding to what they said, and are trying to find a solution that meets both parties' needs, they are acting in good faith. However, if someone repeats their own arguments without addressing the other party's arguments, they are not acting in good faith. If someone refuses to consider reasoned alternatives that meet both parties' needs, they are not acting in good faith. Reasoned arguments are those that make logical sense, whether the listener agrees with them or not. This is also straight out of holacracy. Okay? So yes, again, this is complex. It's difficult. There's judgment calls to be made. Not everyone's going to agree, and there's a whole process of appeals here to deal with it when that happens. We're human beings, and it's going to be messy. But this whole process is a way to hold that messiness. That's what it's intended to do, and to encourage and support us in using these discussion processes to improve how we communicate. I think this is just absolutely paramount and will really contribute to these organizations being healthy and sustainable and regenerative, right? You will notice there is one thing missing from these community relational agreements that's typically in community guidelines, and that is a list of things you can't say. There is none of that, okay? As I said, most of what someone might say that would be considered, offensive is taken care of, because if it's not Regeneration Federation business, you have no business, insulting people or anything like that. But yeah, anything outside of that, if it has to do with how the organization is run, you should be able to say anything you want or need to say. So yeah, that's it. Those are my community relational agreements. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please join my Patreon. You can discuss more with me there. And yeah, this is a living document. It will, change, evolve over time. And thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.